the 3D reality or the karmic reality that that humanity's lived under is now coming to an end.
Absolutely, that's exactly what's
All right. So I feel like if you believe in past lives or a soul that lasts forever, all these things are valid.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I think we're being invited to stop the karmic wheel and enter into a line of manifestation, and manifestation due to the amount of service you put into the planet.
There you go.
Don't get confused with what service is or who it's for. I think as long as you're happy, that is the service that we are invited into.
Yeah.
So for some people, they'll always want to help everybody else before themselves. Okay. But best that you try to help yourself first.
Yeah.
And for all those that are helping yourselves first, doing inner work, well, that's where I see fit to advise you to keep on it and live within your confines of what you are creating. So if it's truth and honor, no more white lies, people. Can't be living in truth and honor if you're wearing white lies. Any lie is karmic. So if you want to get off the karmic wheel, you have to live a life where you don't create karma.
Cheers to no karma.
To no karma.
To 0 point energy.
Cheers. How do you get into that? You just invite yourself into that world.
Totally. So, well.
Forgive yourself.
Yes.
For everything, for everybody else that's done something wrong to you or hurt you or lied to you or whatever. And if you can truly do it from your heart space, that ends the karmic wheel predominantly, and then you enter into a new energy, new consciousness, which is mostly, I believe, is service.
Well, so we'll introduce you to everybody that's watching. So, oh, I wonder what that was. So how do you want to say? We know each other from your store?
Yeah, we met at the shop.
Yeah.
I have a little crystal shop in Rozelle. It's called Rozelle Crystals. And, I'm a bit of a preacher, so to speak, for spirituality.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a psychic channel. I've kind of developed it over the years.
Yes.
My journey started when my partner died about 2.5 years ago. And since then, that's created my awakening. And my awakening has not been in one big stage, it's been 3 or 4. And every time I borderline insanity, and yet when I come out of it, things are easier. I'm not sure it's easier, just able to get into my truth easily.
I think that's part of initiation. When you go through obstacles, the sentience is there so that you can achieve higher and be connected more in with the spiritual realm. That's part of shamanism as well. So it is like an initiation.
Yeah, so it's just I'm always inviting more sensitivity. All right, most people don't want it. They want to stay away from it or push it away.
Yes.
I'm inviting it in as fast or whatever I can do. It does keep me a little bit off balance at times, but the more I invite this, the quicker my balance becomes.
Yeah.
So it's no longer a big heavy shift. There is some chaos, because when you invite this sensitivity, it's like you get channeling more. You're basically, the way I look at it as humans is we're an antenna, both a receiver and broadcaster. All comes from this body. So at first, when you're not really receiving much information, not really much of a load upon you. But when you're getting to be more sensitive, and then you start inviting all that sensitivity, it's like a new language of energy that comes through this body.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to understand at first. Causes a bit of chaos because it's like learning a new language. And so when you're getting caught in it all, you kind of lose your, I'll use the word shit. Because so much information coming into this body, the processing power you have at first is very small and dim-witted. and it's an overload at first. I mean, a lot of people have this and they end up in mental institutions. Why?
Like us.
They're usually blamed or judged to be crazy, but really they're just super sensitive.
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to understand the energy that's flowing through them.
I think, yeah, it's about anchoring that energy and understanding what's going on retrospectively. So having gone into the mental institution, not once, but, you know, I've been there several times, 4 times.
Wow.
And I think in retrospect, there's a purpose because, you know, I always have that thought, and I told you, science still can't prove where thoughts come from. That's significant if we pair that in with the psychiatric and psychology industry, then really, I mean, we still have a very open avenue in those 2 realms to merge with spirit, because they both don't acknowledge the spiritual realm. That's what's missing, really. And it's funny, I actually watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest last night. My friend had a play, and I had an invitation to watch it, and it was really relevant to our experience because it incorporates shamanism as well, but and it's very relevant to today because it's just a commentary on how to connect in and be your bigger or higher self, because it's about the chief, really. And the chief is this shaman, and he comes from a shamanic background of a Native American tribe, and the whole play is focused on this other person with him, and he's sort of voluntarily in there in the mental institution, and he actually wants to kind of like get away from his problems and just stay in there for the purpose of being, you know, not a criminal, because he's got some ties with criminality, I think. So anyways, those 2 characters are the main ones, and they actually end up helping each other because he's a white person, and I'm not saying like, and he was a very spiritual person in my opinion. Like if I sort of did like a review of what the play is about, and you know, I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but it's very interesting how it interplays, and it's very accurate as to what happens in mental health hospitals, and it was just nice to see the ending where he does embody like
what
the
does
chief medicine.
let's do that. What does a mental hospital offer you when you're in there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All a mental hospital offers you, because I've been in there one actually a couple times, is just basically drugs.
Yeah, drugs.
The
also
last mental institution I went into, because I had a bit of an awakening a couple weeks ago, and I got through most of it, but because I was like on my front lawn grounding out, I was observed by a police officer who thought I was a bit messy. So he judged me to be a little bit off my rocker, and before I know it, once you're in the medical profession, they don't listen to spiritualism, grounding out. They think you're delusional. So when I was in that ward, there was no guidance, there was no nurse to talk to, nobody to talk to whatsoever. You're basically put in a ward, given drugs, watching television all day, with an expectation that you're going to heal. Nobody there to help you, just on your own with drugs. So, not a very cool place to be if you've got either a problem you want to talk with somebody, or even just talk to anybody. That's not what you're there for. You're there to be observed and challenged with what your problem is, and it's always with drugs that they treat you. Basically knock you out, make you senseless, have no emotions. That's what these mental institutions are basically advocating. If you have an emotional imbalance, something you're dealing with, their answer to it is not you speak your truth, but deny your truth and be healed by drugs. shut you down.
Unfortunately.
So that's what I dealt with medical profession. Even when I was in there, I had all these rules. They're not following them. No nurse ever introduced themselves to me on a daily basis saying, hey Mac, I'm your nurse. Is there anything I can talk to you about? Nothing offered that way at all. Basically, in a ward with a bunch of other mentally handicapped people, or so they say, or they've been judged so. Yet they're the people that they're high spirited. They're channeling like full on. They're hearing voices. They're talking to God or some other part of themselves, and it's all being delayed or thrown onto you that you're delusional and a mess. Yet there's no room for anybody to have a spiritual happening in a mental ward. They're all about, you're talking to God. Who are you talking to? Oh, you're crazy. That's it. That's the way I see a mental hospital. There's no compassion, no empathy, nothing there. Just a doctor or a nurse judging you to be insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, I tend to agree, but I do see that, you know, a lot of positive changes are happening as well in that realm. Like it's a difficult system to crack because it's not the nurses or doctors' faults. I don't want to fault them. It's something that's just.
Well, I'm seeing this as the consciousness that when you are, there's no respect for spirituality right now. If you have a close relationship with God,
yeah,
the medical profession would ask you if you're hearing a voice.
I know, yeah.
And if you're hearing a voice, they think you're crazy. Yet we have thoughts that are, I guess, a voice. I mean, what's a thought?
Yeah, exactly.
Is a thought not a
What
voice?
is a thought?
You got it? So if I say it's a voice, I'm delusional. If I say it's a thought, then I'm okay. What's the difference? It's the same thing. If I use the wrong word, I'm hosed. Judged to be crazy. If I use the right word, I'm fine. So if I use the wrong word, you see how like all of us are manipulated by a single word. Say the wrong word, hosed, crazy.
That's how it is in that systemic overview of, you know, mental health. They don't have the capacity to think how spirit is actually involved in our daily lives, and that's where shamanism comes through. I think that there's no bridge between spirit and science when it comes to psychology and psychiatry. It's pure scientific fact, and if you can't prove it, then it just doesn't exist. And so we're talking about thoughts, and they're in a very grey area, you know.
Well, how do I prove to science that God exists?
Or how do you prove to science where thoughts come from?
That's what I'm talking about. And are thoughts not just
Yeah, I mean,
from where? Where do you get a thought from?
that's right. Where do you get a thought from? And we've got helpers, we've got spirit guides, we've got, you know, so many things. Like, I believe in the star realms, and I believe that there is a spiritual connection there. So, and
Well, I think half the people listening to this would think you're delusional.
could be. I mean, it depends on the person. It's a very individual
I agree.
process. You mean, like, if you're a psychiatrist, you might believe me, but you don't have the capacity to explain it in your field. So unfortunately, in that field, yeah, I would be deemed as delusional, but that's not the doctor's fault. She or he can't determine what the problem is in terms of what they've got at hand. When we're looking at emotions,
So they're
I
judging
believe
us.
that's a
They're
doorway
judging
to
us.
thoughts.
So we're
I
being,
don't think thoughts come from the brain.
so we're being judged by somebody who's
I
had
don't think-
6 or 7 years in school
Yeah.
to compare their reality against mine. And because I don't have a background that with that kind of schooling,
Yeah.
than they do, they're actually believed before I am.
Well, not necessarily. If you believe that, then it is so. But I am in the mind that they're stuck in that system, and I think a lot of them do genuinely want to help. And it is a very much like a partnership when you get into a situation, like a relation, that you need to help them as well. Because I don't think they know the answer. They've only got the medication to support us. You know, if you do get so-called mentally ill,
I'd say like
if
most,
you accept that.
I'm going to say a lot
I
of them.
accept the mentally ill diagnosis, but I do not accept the prognosis, because I do believe that society is mentally ill, and I include myself because I'm part of society, and I do see a lot of faults. There's no doubt. And just because I act differently or go into psychosis and have situations where it's deemed in that profession to be mentally ill doesn't escape the fact that everybody goes through it.
Sure.
And we hide these things. Just having the label, it's not a big deal, Mac. It's just like, you know, like you go through it and then, I mean, you accept it or you don't. I've been there 4 times, so I'm at the stage where I do accept it. But then I also understand that it's not just me. Like, you know, like you said, at the same time you went, and that was a shock. Like, I was like, wow, you know, like, and
Yeah.
it is like that. And I actually enjoyed my stay.
I can tell you, I did not enjoy my stay there. I was not allowed to speak my truth.
Yeah.
And most people, when I did, were looking at me as delusional.
I enjoyed it because I had a lot of batshit crazy other people to talk to, and I loved it. I didn't like the medication, but I mean, that is their solution. So what can I say? Like,
it's like a one size fits all. Just because you think outside the box,
yeah,
you're a problem.
Well, that is the general consensus when you're in review.
I mean, what do you do with somebody who's highly sensitive and let's say can channel or talk to spirit world, God, right? I mean, a scientific mind would look at that as delusional.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like there's a threshold where certain things aren't allowed in this realm because the spiritual aspect is just not going to anchor in. So it's up to us to balance it. That's what I feel. Because we navigate through the underworld as well as the heavenly worlds. So it's a bit of both. Like, we can't just get stuck there, or we can't just get stuck there. And, you know, I talked to my mentor and she said it's very important that you ground yourself. Now, grounding is pretty, like, it's vital in initiation, because if you don't ground your energies and your, you know, new insights, whatever you gain from the hospital, whatever you gain from channeling, whatever you gain from talking to God like you do, you need to be able to anchor it in and balance it.
Well, sure. It's like if you're not well grounded, you lose your grip.
Yeah.
You're like flying away like a kite, and with no anchoring down to the ground, you just get lost.
Yeah, you do.
Right? So everything, like spirituality, comes with balance. You're not an angel after all. You're a human being.
Yeah. I mean, we can be demonic and we can be angelic. Like, that's
it's all free will. You're in a free will world.
Absolutely.
Let me take this phone call for a second.
Yeah.
It's probably business.
Sure.
I am. Yes, I am. I'm not there today, but my friend Seymour has my shop, so he's there today. All right. He's there till 5 o'clock. You're welcome. Bye bye now. Yeah, phone calls from my shop, and I'm here enjoying my day off. So.
That's how it is when you've got business, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, I've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years. The shop became my life, because when my partner died a couple of years ago, my loss created that my shop or my business became the biggest part of my life. And nowadays, after 2.5 years, I think I've done my inner work. Feels like I have. Where that loss is no longer painful. I'm inviting a new life, new world, new relationships. new something. So I'm ready for it now. So grief, wow, grief. Grief is not something you can just get away with. There is no complete inner work. You can only do the work that you can, but there's no fast track or quick fix. It's an emotion. It's in your body as well as your mind and soul. You've lost the love of your life, and none of that can be talked through in any quick timeline. It's like just going to happen as it can. I've tried to fast track it, done all the inner work, but it doesn't matter how you try, there's still the loss. Because my lover was my best friend. So it wasn't just something like, oh, well, my lover's gone. My best friend also is gone. The partner I shared my life with, spent every waking moment with her, except when I was in the business team, and then it was a good relationship. So when they finally leave, they leave a big hole in you because your universe was combined with hers. And when they leave, you've got a big hole to fill. And that can't be done with any one person or any 1 minute. It takes time. I can share that with you. Still have some inner crying going on. That's my loss of my best friend. Not so much my lover anymore. I mean, she's no longer here in a body for me to invite that part of her back. And, well, I still channel her and talk to her from here. Anyways, that's just my personal thing that I believe I can do. Anyways, seemed like something to share with you guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, that dropped the vibe really low. Sorry. Up we go. There we go.
Yeah, it's hard losing someone like a friend and a partner.
Yeah, it was like one of my big challenges in my life. She's like the first real person that I could honestly say I loved her all the way through. Right? I haven't had very many experiences with many people, but she's been the best experience of my current life. And I'm kind of like welcoming a third part of my life to grow. So I'm ready for, a new lover, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that it's important to honor the process.
Yeah, there's no fast track.
No, yeah. Things happen for a reason, and whether we get the message or not, I think that the process is more important because it's part of healing. I think we tend to jump like, oh, because this is here, then maybe we should do that. But there's a process in gaining.
Well, I look at it like this way. Life is an adventure, right? So it's a game. Life's a game, all right? So you get a lot of things that are going to happen, and as long as you can see it as a game, then try to not anchor into it for any one problem for too long. Let it flow through you or over you or whatever your situation is. Yes. And don't feel that you're stuck.
No.
Right? So long as there's movement, you'll get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And try not to use the blame game. Blame the universe, blame yourself, blame somebody else.
If you point one finger, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Yeah, you got it? Yeah, that's a cool one. I like that. That's cool. So the reality is, if you truly are living a game of life as a human being, then everything is a lesson for you to learn. Just believe that that's what's happening and walk through all your lessons. Fall down, get smacked to the floor, stand up and walk forward again. Eventually, when you realize that everything is a lesson, it's easy to walk through life.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It is about your belief and your perspective. If you feel like, everything is out to get you, you're going to experience that.
Yeah, because you're actually asking that by thinking that.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
And we're doing that.
Be more positive for yourself.
Exactly.
Try to shed off some of the negative words out of your mind. You are your thoughts. You are your mind. You are your energy. You are your life. All of it is you. So if you've got a lot of negativity, maybe you're the one with it. If you're thinking negative thoughts, then you're inviting negative world around you.
There's nothing wrong with negative thoughts. I mean, we don't want to keep them there, but we acknowledge that they're part of the process. See, if we say like only positivity, that's excluding a lot of suffering and pain for a lot of people here. So we need to be able to, you know, include all those things from the empathic level. We've been there, you know, we've all suffered. We know what it's like to be in that realm. So it's not like we're going to bypass that. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like when you're trying to shift consciousness into what I call the fifth dimension, those are just words, fifth dimension. But it's something, a higher consciousness than the third. So your thoughts are important. So if you're thinking with negative words, it's harder to create a more positive reality because a negative word holds negative energy, negative vibration.
Absolutely.
Hard to walk through it. There's always a more positive word to explain a negative item or situation. Thus, when you're using positive words, you can't be anchored to the negative part of it.
Yes.
Right? So everything, if you could spin positive words into a negative situation, it's easy for you to walk forward from it. It doesn't feel as heavy. There's more light.
Yeah, words are power, that's for sure. You manifest through words. That's the only way. So I'm a big believer in watching what you say as well,
Yeah.
for sure.
Careful with your words, right? Because if you use them, you are them. That's it.
That's
Right.
true. They'll
So-
eat you alive.
Yeah, they can. So I usually try to use a positive way of thinking no matter how messed up I get. Hey, not every day is perfect for me. Sometimes I'm very much in my brain, but I go more so these days into my heart,
Yeah,
right? That's like living in the now,
yeah.
right?
Would you like some almond milk? Sorry.
No, this is fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sipping it through.
Okay.
I'm alright with it. It's a bit weird for me because I don't usually have cocoa.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's a dark.
I'm used to a
mix.
latte or a mocha.
Yeah, it's not a coffee.
Yeah, more of a dessert thing. This is just too.
It's bitter.
It's
not.
too good.
It's healthy. Yeah.
It's too
I'll put
healthy.
coconut oil and.
Yeah. So it's like this is just too healthy for me.
It'll be good for your gut. Don't worry. Do you want a spoon so that it mixes?
I'll get through it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it was an interesting little conversation.
Yeah, I think that it is a shift that we're going through. It is, yeah. Yeah. Everyone's going through it, but, you know, I like to say that I honour those that also have to go through a lot of baggage, and that's really all of us as well. So it's like we just honour where we've come from because it's dark and it can get difficult. And there's a purpose for it all. So it's not like we're just going to jump up and get to the higher dimension because it's a lot of suffering here. There's a lot of...
I'm trying not to look at that in that frame of mind. It's just not suffering. When you say that, you're actually inviting it.
Not for me, for other people. I honour that. I do because I know that. Yeah.
Just like when you're shifting consciousness, it's going to require a little bit of rewiring your mind. New words, positive words. It's about breaking old rules, rules that you believe that are your truth. It's conquering your matrix. You ever watch The Matrix, the movie? Right? So when you realize that you're living by all these rules that you're told that you have to live by, that's a contract that's been dispelled or put upon you, a matrix.
Yep.
When you elevate your consciousness above that, then you become a creator of a new matrix, one that you can change and not be anchored to, your truth. A lot of people get stuck in the matrix and they figure that they have no way out. They are just living in the 3D world that they are told they have to live in. When you conquer that and know that you can elevate your consciousness to be more stronger than that you've been told you have to live in, then you shift consciousness and you create your own destiny versus
Absolutely.
one that has been pushed upon you.
Yes. Yeah, we are manifestors.
Yeah. You just gotta believe and it'll happen.
Yeah, you just got to believe. Yep. So now, would you like a reading, Mac? I can
Sure,
do
why
a
not?
reading. Yeah.
Let's go for a reading.
Which one would you like?
Oh, well, you pick your strengths.
Maybe the dream time.
Sure.
I like that because I just went on a walk and I feel very connected to, like, you know how there's a Pleiadian Dreamtime story of the rainbow serpent here.
Yeah, that's more your world.
Yeah, there is like a lot of that energy with these cards, and yeah, Dreamtime reading cards. I mean, there's interpretation from the author, but I usually like to just
use your own.
use my own. So for the highest good of your being, let's do a reading and see what we pull through. Do you have any intentions?
My intentions. I'm only trying to find my truth. Right? So, part of what I'm trying to find lately is a new relationship with somebody. And I'm asking for change, or I'm inviting change in my world. I'm finding my life a little bit boring at the moment.
So you're calling in a soulmate?
I am calling in for a soulmate.
Yeah.
One that's basically a mirror image of myself.
Okay.
That's also into spirituality.
Yep.
Maybe higher vibing than my own. Or maybe one that I can like honor, and then she'd like, show me something a little different, and I could show her something a little different, and we would just teeter-totter or zigzag to a higher consciousness together.
Because you had a previous partner, didn't you?
Yeah, she was highly psychic, and she knew so much more than I ever did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was her truth, and I didn't really honor it back then. I didn't understand it.
Are you talking about Cookie?
That was my cookie, that was mine.
Okay.
She was highly psychic, and she could actually, she was a people pleaser. She just knew so many things for so many people. I don't think she ever thought she was that way. She always used to think of it as just like something that she could just do.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think she ever thought that she was psychic.
Yeah.
Right? So, but yet so many people went and talked to her all the time. She's in the room right now, I can feel her.
Well, I'm getting goosebumps, so she's probably here.
Yeah.
I never met her, but I feel her sentience.
Yeah, she's like a very loving body. It feels like if she was my twin soul, and I believe she was one of my twin souls, we've rejoined. So where there was a splintering, we're now healed. Does that make sense?
Well, I think that she's coming through for a reason, and that might be why we're doing a reading. Do you want to call her through?
Well, I think she's already in the room. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always asking for help. She already knows this. It's like I've invited her into my life on all levels.
Okay, let's do a cookie reading. So I'll shuffle these, and you just pick out how many you think. It doesn't matter. And
3.
then I'll do the reading for you.
3. 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom.
Okay. So that's the third one. Let's see. Okay, so I'll ignore that they're upside down. That's okay. You've got a green tree frog, release, and a waterfall. So that's health and balance. That's snakes. 2 snakes, bendy. Well, I think I already got that message that you do really need to release that emotional charge you still have for her, because like I did tell you before earlier, she has left the plane of the physical, and the higher consciousness is different. So she is really in a better place, and she'd like you to move on through balance. And when you do that, you will find happiness, and you will find your soulmate, and you'll find something better. But you're still attached to the projection of her. You're not seeing how she really is still. You're still attached to what you felt like was her.
Sure.
That's what I'm getting.
Well, that's my human experience, of course.
Because the green tree frog, I don't know much about it. It's saying health. Maybe it's linked to balance. This was upside down, but I did have a feeling that you were a bit disbalanced. So, only because you're feeling guilty, but you're not accepting that it is painful to even speak about it. And you need to acknowledge that you're still in pain.
Oh, I know I'm still in pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's ever going to really truly end. I don't think it's pain. It's loss.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it as pain. When I go to my heart, it's not saying there's any pain there. The loss is through memories and being lonely. That's the loss I'm facing. So I'm not feeling the pain of the loss. I feel like I've healed that part. I feel like I have.
Okay.
All right, so I don't think I am in pain from her death anymore. I'm very happy that she's crossed over.
Mm.
I'm the one that's a little heavy where I'm still in a human body, so I miss her. But it's like, it would be like, not just like missing her, even as my lover.
Yeah.
It'd be the same kind of loss as if I'd lost like my best friend, right? These things are not something as a human body that you can just actually just heal from, probably ever, because they've made such a difference in your life, right? So it's not something you can just ever just let go.
Mm.
Time would also help that, where it would just be less of, well, if I had a new lover, there'd be less loneliness. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not going to be masking my loneliness with a new lover.
Yeah.
But my whole life is now so too much to my shop. But when I come home, there's not my lover there anymore. There's the part of loneliness. Come home, there's no partner there.
Can I just say something? Because I hear a lot of pain still, and I feel like I know you want another partner, but the fact of the matter is that unless...
It's not like I want another partner, I'm inviting one.
Yeah.
So not feeling want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you'll never get what you want. You always get what you need.
I get what you're saying, but like what I'm trying to say is that for you to manifest something that's more positive, you need to kind of like snap out of it. And for that to happen, I think that death is a process, Mac. It is a process that we have to accept that is part of life. I know it's unfortunate that Cookie has passed on, but she's still with you, like you said.
No,
you have to believe that she's still with you.
I do believe that, but it's not the way it was anymore. It's not like she's still here.
I know.
Embodied, right? She's still here in my heart. She's still somebody who I, on a level of spirituality, talk to. But it doesn't satisfy, if I could say the word satisfy, the need of my body.
I understand, Mac. It's just that for a relation to work, you need to be able to navigate your own soul. Now, that's why I say shamanism is important, because when you connect in with the spiritual realm through shamanism with the earth, you find more connection to your own soul. And then that way you can navigate better as to what you want. Cookie is still with you, but she is not the same form, like you said.
Yeah, I know, I understand that part as best I can with the human brain.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't have, let's say, your teachings for the way you learned it. All right? My teachings are not soul related. Right? I haven't grasped even what a soul is. I know what it is to me.
Okay.
All right? Which is basically the baseline of an entity that's living forever. And it's invited to take form in bodies to experience different emotions or different energies of all kinds. Body always needed, I think, to feel them with something other than just conscious. A body allows you to feel emotions and so on. I'm not sure as a conscious being you actually can feel an emotion. Not all of them anyways, I don't think.
Yeah.
You need a body to allow that energy to flow through you.
I don't think that's right for
Yeah.
me. But
I mean,
do,
what's a body for then?
Well, for me, the soul is very much the emotional discharge. For me, okay? So when you die, your emotions are the first thing. You know, it's linked to your, I think it's pituitary.
Pituitary?
Yeah,
Pituitary?
that one. And the hippocampus and stuff, and your pineal. But that data is really your emotional field, your EMF, right?
Okay.
So that's what I find the soul is connected to, because that's what I find that resonates with me, how I gather my information.
I find this body is more like the antenna.
Yeah, that's the antenna, your heart.
Well, heart, emotions, fear, anger, love, deception, pain, all of it's felt through a body. As a conscious being, can you feel pain? Don't think you can. There's nothing there to create pain. You can only believe in it as a conscious being. It's sort of like you need a body to feel all these emotions through. That's what gives you an understanding. Why are we always invited into a body? It feels like it's the way we learn what an emotion feels like.
On a human level.
Well,
yes.
While you're in a human body, yes.
Yes, because I feel like
without this body, could I
animals have
actually feel
emotions.
pain? No.
Well, I still think that animals feel pain and
No,
emotion.
but that's through a body again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but it's still.
Without a body, can you
Not this
actually
body.
feel pain? I don't think you can. That's why we're invited to take form in a body.
Well, I still think plants have sentience. Like, I feel I'm in the mind that everything
Anything
is
physical.
consciousness.
Well, anything physical has an ability to feel something.
But physical is a weird word because we're talking elementals. Like, I feel that everything has consciousness. When we get based on.
Yeah, everything does have consciousness, but it's physical, right? Something physical that would have
Well, I mean,
an
I
ability to
think
feel
that
pain, anger.
I think that physical is misinterpreted. That's what I'm saying. So,
Well, the way I'm looking at myself, what I can see with my eyes and feel in this body is this body. You know, poke it, feel that poke. Some pain, if I do it this way, some pleasure. Just depends on what you're experiencing.
that's the human aspect.
Sure,
Yeah.
but that's in this consciousness, in this 3D world that we're seeing, it is this physical.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? I mean, our souls are much bigger than just this body.
They are.
All right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just a very small bit of what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
All right? So, but I feel like in this experience as a human body, emotions come through it. And it allows me to feel what any emotion what emotions are available to allow you to have an understanding for it. Pain, anger, fear, also truth, valor.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of emotions. Each one of these emotions, I think, is a frequency,
Mhm.
right? The energy is more powerful than the word.
Yeah. Exactly.
You got it?
Energy is everything.
Energy, yeah. So it's like the word, language is very much a problem for spirituality. Everybody's always anchored into the word's meaning, but not the truth behind it.
Yes.
We're all set up to be too literary and less spiritual.
Well, that's very much the green frog for me, the physical realm.
Hmm.
Because these two are, because water is a very ethereal, and it is a very emotional element. So waterfall, it's kind of like, yeah, release, you're letting go, you know?
Sure.
And that has to do with emotions for me. Like,
Sure.
that's,
I mean, if you
that's
wanna-
how I would interpret
I think
it.
part of like elevating your consciousness to what I would call the fifth dimension, just a higher level, is to allow emotions or everything you've felt in this lifetime, like water, to flow through you and leave you. And it's usually forgiven. It's through forgiveness, things will go through you,
Yeah.
right? I feel like karma is based on something you just don't allow to finish. You're caught up into the emotion and you can't forgive somebody or you can't forgive yourself. And thus, it's like a locked-in contract of karma that has to be dispelled with something.
Okay.
The way to get out of karma is to forgive. Forgive everybody that's caused that feeling.
Yeah.
And forgive yourself for being involved in something that messes you up. It seems like when you forgive all parties, all energy contracts are dissolved.
Yeah, forgiveness is a very, it's a high state of being. Like, you need to be able to actually tap into that. Yeah,
I think, and that allows you to come off the karmic wheel
it does, yes.
and allow a higher level of consciousness to come in,
Yeah, it does.
right? So the more room you make for it, less three-dimensional, more higher vibe light will come through you, and you elevate your consciousness.
Absolutely.
It's pretty much that simple.
Yes, I know.
We could talk about this like through 25 different levels, and there's all kinds of people that would talk about it like an all-knowing way. But remember that I only speak my truth in this little interview. Use your discernment. What you get out of it is to be your truth.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's the reading
Cool.
that I had. And I think that was the main one that I would focus on if I were you.
Sure.
Because, not that you're disbalanced always, but we just acknowledge that we're in a flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty much, I still think I'm actually in a good flow.
Yeah.
I can't see I've got too much
No, you are.
like holding me back. In fact, actually at this point in time in my life, it's like there's a lot of flow going on.
Yeah, same. I'm actually doing an I Ching course and I'm in Water Week. And yeah, water is a very flowing emotional state and you just get really fluid and really like let go of a lot of stuff. Water is a very strong element and I mean, we are 99% water or something, so it's a very heavy part of consciousness, that element. And it's very vital, it's a very vital source for a lot of life force on this planet, so acknowledging water is a big deal, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing that it came out, because maybe that's what she wanted you to hear.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. But everything is just the same in the end. When we die, I'm in of the mind that we do create our own reality, and it's just up to us where we want to go in life. So death and life essentially are the same thing. It's up to your perception. See, if Cookie was some drug addict and she wanted to like suicide or something, she'd be in a realm of suffering when she left.
Really, I don't think that's the case. I think the suffering that you endure in this life is through your body.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think you carry that forward into the other realm.
but if you believed that you'd just continue suffering, if you were in the mind that
No, I think when you are released from your body, there is no more suffering.
well,
You're surrounded by, I believe, angels, and help through if there is some pain still in you.
yeah,
They help you through it quickly, not carrying another life to it.
I believe that we just create what we want. That's what I believe, but I respect that. the angels, and because I know they help. Because I know, like for me, I believe it's just up to us what we want in life, in death.
I think when you're living a human existence,
Yeah.
we're living in both.
We're kind of living in both worlds, really.
I feel like it's almost like purgatory,
Yeah.
right? So as a human being, you choose with your free will which part of purgatory you want to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're heavy, you like ego, you like messing up, things that are against the law, heavy dark vibration, then you translate that in this life as hell, and you live through it that way. And guess who you're always around? Darker souls, right? Because mirror images always are around you.
Yep.
Or you can live life on a higher level, higher consciousness, more loving. That becomes heavenly. So you have free will in your lifetime to choose your path. And in no part are you always anchored in one reality or the other. From light, you can fall quickly to darkness if you wish. Or from darkness, you can come up into the light if you wish. It's all under your free will.
And prayer, yes, I agree. Free will is important because that's what our foundation is based on. But prayer is so powerful, and I pray to like my mentor has helped me a lot, and so in that I really pray and believe in Sai Baba because he's helped me through a lot of tough times, and I know a lot of other things help me as well, but he was one of the key factors that helped me through a lot of transitions. And I acknowledge that because prayer is manifestation.
Most of my channeling or prayer or what I seek my spirituality through is just God. What part of God? I mean, it's all part of God, right? Whether it's an angel, a certain entity of an angel, I think it's all just part of oneness, right? It's all the same thing. To me, it's all God. Easy for that way. I'm not used to, or I don't have a memory to remember a certain angel for a certain topic or frame that I need some work on. So I just with intent invite the angel that will help me, or God that will help me.
Yeah.
And I don't just talk to them when I'm in trouble. I also share with them when things are great. So when I do get into my prayer mode, usually it's in the morning or at night, I'm like, hey, thank you, God. Going hey man, this is a cool day. Or if there's a problem, I'm like, hey man, this is a crazy day. A lot of weird shit happened to me. I need some help. Can you help me doing this or whatever? Share everything. Even now, when I go through my day, I'm sharing everything with that part of it. God is like one of my best friends. Actually, truly is my best friend. No, he's not sitting there in a human body going, hey Mac, you're doing this right or wrong. That's not his role. His role is to be my best friend, support me in everything I do, whether it's black or white. It's not for him to worry about. Right? I always have him as my counsel. But I also share my life as my best friend. To me, God is not in a box in outer space, a bearded man that I pray to when I'm doing something wrong. Ew. I talk to him all the time, whether my life's good or bad. Share with him everything. That's why I feel like I get to be a good channeler. It just seems to it just flows through me. Guidance.
As long as it comes from your heart, I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah, and that's the way I live my life. I mean, a lot of people don't really want to believe in God. The word God itself is, well, what God are you talking about? Christian God, Catholic God, Allah, whatever. All these gods. Really, it's just all the same thing to me.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. Higher self, God. To actually say it's this God or the right God or the wrong God, that's just all ego.
Yeah.
Right? How can you believe that one God is any more powerful or beautiful or stronger than any other God? That's just a human ego saying that my God is right or wrong or all this. I think it's all just bullshit. God is a personal experience with what you think is God, and it comes from within you. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to talk about the word G-O-D.
Well,
too
I
many
think
misspellings, too much judgment.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even when I've to talk about it to people. Quite often they're asking me, what God are you talking about? What's your religion? I'm like, does it matter? And a lot of people are, yeah. And I'm like, why? And they don't have an answer for me. It's because they were taught it a certain way, and there's no room to interpret it anything different than the way they were taught.
Okay.
Right? For me, it's like all gods, whatever, are all one. Makes it easy for me to live that way.
Yeah.
Universal God, source, super consciousness. Just as easy to say. Every time you use the word God, oh my God, it's trouble. Use super consciousness, oh, everybody seems to like be able to deal with that. Right? Because it doesn't say the word G-O-D. We're all stuck on a word, not in your heart. The word is the problem. Why do we always stick onto the word as the problem? You can see how we've all come to a literary mind and not a spiritual one.
Yeah.
That's the downfall, I would say, of humanity. We learned words.
Yeah.
Doesn't allow spirituality because we're too caught into the words and their meanings versus what truly is behind it, your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for your coffee, or I should
The
say,
cacao.
my cacao.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a good mix, but
Oh, it's tasting better as I go down to the bottom.
yeah, I should have given you a spoon.
That's all right. Well, now I gotta go home and clean my house.
Oh, you didn't clean yet?
No, I just like, that's my friend. He's coming by today to help me do it. A lot of heavy stuff, so I took my time to come over here while he's doing some running around.
Oh, that's
I feel like
cool.
he's on his way to my place now, so.
Well, let me know if you need a hand. I'm happy to help.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for doing the channel for today.
Oh, I did my best. I wasn't sure how this would all work out. I'm sure it all turned out very well.
I think so. Yeah.
It is my first
I think Cookie
interview.
touched our hearts there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's still in the room,
Yeah, I feel that.
barely, but she actually just left. It's kind of funny I can tell you that, but that's how it's all is for me. Very sensitive. I just know when things are here or when they leave. I think they're truly here all the time, but I just seem to know when they're closer. I'm getting to be very sensitive.
You just tap into that.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I needed her to help me with this channeling thing, right? So she came in here to help me with it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel
So
that.
it's to keep me kind of like into it without coming off my path. I was off my path a couple times, but she'd like kind of like lead me back into it.
I think she's here to help both of us release that fear of death, ultimately. That ultimate fear of leaving the body and dying of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fear in there for me. It's not like a fear I can truly identify. Like, no one's taught me about death. You know, if you went to like a village, part of like a society or a village, whenever there was a death,
Yes.
the whole community would get together and grieve and celebrate their lives.
That's right. Yeah.
I have not in this lifetime had that.
That is part of what I call shamanic.
Sure. So when Cookie
Yeah.
died, I didn't have the blessings of my lifetime and shown or been taught what evolution through death means to a human being. So when she died, I had no support. Neither with my parents talking about death, nor my life. Pretty much everybody's afraid of talking about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have an ability to find my way through it alone. I'm still lost with it. That's kind of why I talked to you about, you thought about death. My source of energy for it, my intelligence is blank when it comes to death. Why? No one had shared any of this with me my entire life. I'm 56 years old. So when she died, I didn't know how to deal with it. Why? No teachings, no spirituality. Celebrate your life? Weird. What do you mean celebrate your life? No one taught me. So pretty much all of my spirituality is just a bunch of hoops I walked through alone and figured them all out for myself. In some ways that makes me cool for a channeler, because I'm not relying on books, spirituality, things I've been taught. They all come from me, learned, and using my own truth.
Yeah.
Pretty solid truth when it comes through. That's why my channeling is unique. It's not relying on anything but me and my life.
You just keep moving forward. Like, that's the very much kangaroo spirit, see? They can't go backwards, they can only go forward.
You can't never go back. I mean, that's kind of what time prevents, right?
Well, that's what a kangaroo is about. Like, he can never, or she, walk backwards, only jumps forward. And that's medicine. And you might want to tap into that because that's what it is.
Well, I think at one point I was trying to invite the past,
yeah.
right? I mean, I'm still inviting the memories of the past, but I'm anchored in the now, right now, looking at the future. And it's fun because you just never know what's behind the next corner, right? Because we live in the now,
Right.
exciting times. Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
there's a dragonfly that I can see, so that's a good sign.
Oh, cool. So,
Yeah, always keep it positive, you know, and just because it's unknown doesn't mean it's going to be negative.
well,
Do you know what I
I
mean?
don't even think negative at any one time. I know I get lost in my head sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Because
But I mean, it can be scary, like the
I
unknown.
try not to think I'm scared.
Sure.
I
Okay.
want to ask that. Is there any scariness, any fear? I would like to project no. I'm sure there's a little bit of fear in me, and there
Yeah.
always is a little bit of fear, but
There's
it does
always
not.
fear with everyone.
But it does not rule me. Do you understand?
That's right.
I don't think anybody can live completely without fear,
No, it's impossible.
right? Otherwise, you'd be like jumping out of a plane every 10 minutes because you just love,
Exactly.
you just
Yeah.
love the ride all the way down.
We need the fear because it's actually a survival mechanism.
Yeah, so fear keeps you from doing something completely stupid.
Yeah. So we're not going to just chop it
Yeah.
off.
So there's always room for fear. It's just how much will you allow into your auric field to allow you to remain on your truth.
Yeah, that's right. Like, we are manifestors and we are more powerful than fear itself. And just because we have it doesn't mean that we can't release it continuously. So the more we release, the more powerful
So
we
I
get.
try not to live my life with fear, the heaviest part of me.
Yeah, like we know it's there for a reason.
Sure.
And it's really just to show us how powerful we are,
Well, I think it's just one of your survival instincts, right? So like
as well as that, yes.
5 or 10,000 years ago, when we were not in a society and you had to hunt or be hunted,
Yes,
all right? Fear is what kept you alive.
that's right.
Whereas
In
now,
a sense, that's right.
we no longer are in nature fending for ourselves every day. We can go to the grocery store to get food.
Yeah,
We can go to the government for get free money.
but we still have the fear
Of what?
of
There's almost nothing that we
the
should be
wild.
afraid. No, I think like
Absolutely.
there's no room for fear these days. Pretty much you got society, you got police officers.
But that's ignorance. That's not.
Well, I don't find that ignorant. It's like your ego. Your ego has a hard time living in these times. Why? It has lost its place. It doesn't have any power. Like nobody's inviting their ego.
But for me, I don't think that's right, Mac, because I think that in society we suppress fear. I don't think that we don't have any.
Suppress it? No, I
Yes,
think we don't
I
suppress
think
it. I think we actually invite it.
I think we're unconscious of it. So we're running around in fear in society. I see a lot of people pretending like they're not, but I can sense that their energy is in fear mode, but they're not conscious of it.
Well, I think they're just too trusting of being told what to do.
Yeah, it's just normal or it's something we're used to, because it's actually empowering to say, I can think for myself, I'll do what I want and I'll manifest. But we're so used to having our thoughts being monitored and, you know, guided by other people, that we're just unconscious of that fear that we need the control. And but we're so powerful, you know what I mean? Like, we can do anything we
Well, I
think
believe
of.
that to be true. I don't think like the most of the populace thinks that way.
No, or they're not conscious of how powerful they are.
Yeah,
Because they are
Because you
very
most people have given away
powerful.
their power
Yeah,
to society,
yeah,
right? Yes.
because it's
to
easier.
governments, to other people, right? Don't
Yes.
believe in yourself and need always somebody else to be telling you what to do,
That's right.
right? Because
Yeah.
you're afraid to make your own decisions because you fear that you'll make a mistake.
Like, we shouldn't be thinking that way. We should all have our honor and integrity as manifestors, because then we can create a better reality. Because currently, the situation that we're in is batshit crazy. And the people that are in the mental health institution going through initiation are trying to consolidate all that energy somehow.
Let's look at it. This shift in consciousness will unbalance some certain kind of people.
Yeah, for sure. And that's probably our mission, to help people that have gone through that, or, you know, are going to go through that and are willing to find the solution. And it's really in you. The solution is always there.
Yeah, it's always your guidance is only good for you. You'll figure it out.
That's it. You just need to listen to the guidance that you've been given, and you need to keep asking questions if you're not getting the answer. And
Yeah.
follow synchronicity, follow spirit, follow the things your ancestors are pointing to. Those are the things that you want to manifest in your life. You don't have to be so specific, but you just need to have like a moral compass, sort of.
Yeah, whatever you put in your codes of honor and love and so on,
Yeah.
like, stick with it. Don't betray yourself.
Yeah, don't betray yourself. That's exactly right. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think we have the tendency to betray our morals.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah,
So always be truthful to yourself first. Otherwise,
exactly.
you've got a lot of karmic lessons to learn.
Exactly. Be truthful. And don't be so down on your internal processing, because that's part of who you are. Like, everybody thinks differently, in my opinion, but honor that within you. You know, you make progress every single moment, and we're constantly changing. And, you know, be positive to yourself. Self-love is such a underrated thing, because I think we're just so down on our own, you know, abilities, that we lose sight that we also need to give love to ourselves, you know.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. All right, well, thank you so much for my coffee.
Your coffee.
I'm gonna.
Your
Well,
fake
I call it
coffee.
my fake coffee. Yes.
It does give you energy, by the way, a lot more than coffee. Yeah.
Oh, let's go take this.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Yeah, those brass ones. Yeah, bronze. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. They're like 50. Yeah, they're like $50. All right. Okay, dude, you bet. Bye. You bet.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, that was fun.
And yeah, I'd just like to honour the Dharug elders as well of this land, and all the traditional custodians, because I do feel their sentience, you know.
Well, you had all them invited in the room. You can feel them all applauding you for our attempt. They're saying, "Good, Mac, first try."
This is their space.
They like to, yeah. Oh, so they're honoring it. It's your space. remember you're in this physical world and they're not. They're like also, well, you're getting blessed. They want you to continue what you're doing.
Aww.
And Cookies are saying to me, well done. And she's like having a laugh about it right now because I'm talking about her. I'm always
I
talking
feel
about her.
goosebumps.
She's laughing. She's like, she's saying something like, you're delusional. You really give me, it's like you're honoring me beyond yourself.
Yeah.
See that? But I'm telling her, I know.
Honor yourself because you're such a magician. You're a Merlin.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like I still
Yeah.
love her so much. I want to honor her. It's like,
I know.
well, it's like you've taught me so much, Cookie. This is like me channeling her. And she's like bashful, going like, you have no idea what you are doing, really. She says, like, I've taught her so much in this lifetime. And she's like saying,
I see that. Yeah.
she's just like sitting there like, it's more like in awe. There's nothing to say to me.
Yeah.
It's like, because she knows, like, when I say that, usually she would say, like, well, why are you honoring yourself? And I'm like, I'm knowingly going, I am honoring myself, but I'm honoring you because you taught me so much in this lifetime. And that's where she like goes into like this like a little childish little grin going, there's nothing to say other than like we had true love between us.
No matter what, Cookie is still with you. No matter what.
I know, like I still am, like she's like, it's hard for me to explain. I married her after she died. It's a really weird thing that I would do that, right?
Yeah.
In my psychosis of the loss, I wish I did marry her when she was alive, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I still was messed up with this whole breakup I had with my first wife, right? And it's true, like every time I get involved in her life, my first wife, it's like waking up a lion and getting them angry. So I chose to, and I had a lot of fear for my first wife.
Yeah.
Because she was like highly psychic and she could like smack me from the other end of the planet, all right? But I think it was like a karmic thing, her and me, other past lives involved, right? Once I found all this out, I cleaned all that up for my part, right? Feels like, for a lot of people that are doing inner work with people,
Yes.
some people, I think we discussed this in our past,
Yeah.
which is like, when you're dealing with a human being that's toxic, all right? And you just can't get through them because they just don't want to hear what you have to say or they don't believe you. They're caught up in the mess,
Yeah.
right? So you can bypass that human being and talk to their higher self. And when you do this with forgiveness and love in your heart, it's like you're allowed to come off the karmic wheel and put the weight of all of it on their own shoulders. So, because if they're not willing to forgive, then they wear the weight alone. And that becomes a pretty heavy load for anyone to wear. So you don't need the participation in the human form of the person that's betrayed you, hurt you, broke your heart, whatever. If you're into the realm of forgiveness, you can do all this work without the human sitting across the table and fighting you tooth and nail to disallow it.
Yep. I
All right.
agree.
So when you make that shift and you lovingly give their part of the contract to them, there's nothing for them to fight with. And they have to figure it all out on their own. So that's what this is all about when it comes into these lives.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, look at the shift you made in you.
Yeah.
You're not all messed up anymore. You got power.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I found my power
There you
through
go.
being messed up because I felt like I think too much about what people think of me, and that's just not on.
Yeah.
I'm not having that anymore
There you
because
go.
I'm the person who I am through my experiences, and I don't care anymore because no one's perfect, Mac.
Well, I understand that.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Sure. I mean, but mistakes are supposed to be valued.
Yeah, through yourself.
And learned from for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't really,
I am
You
not
want
perfect.
on-
I am batshit crazy.
no, it's like you can't honor yourself if you can't recognize that you might have made a mistake.
Oh, definitely. I've made plenty
Sure.
of mistakes.
But when you're allowed,
That's
when
for
you
sure.
allow yourself to wear this mistake,
Yes.
then it's like honor coming through you. And it's like, wow, okay, I made a mistake. Or I lived in my truth, and now I'm like changing what I feel about it. Right?
Exactly.
So the way I look at the world is everybody is right, the whole planet,
Okay.
right? So when I look at somebody, even if they're opposed to me, I honor them that they're right for them.
For them. Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
If I judge them, then I'm not allowing them to be who they are. I dishonor them,
Yeah.
right? So do I want to be judged? No effing way. So if I judge somebody else, guess what they're going to do? Judge me,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
So if we're all right, then who gives a shit when everybody's judging you or not?
Who cares? Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Because then your power is in you.
Exactly. Ultimately, we're the biggest judges of ourselves.
Yes. So if you can honestly walk through your life and make mistakes but honor them as mistakes or your truths, then those are all lessons.
Honor them.
Then those are all lessons well learned in your lifetime.
Absolutely.
That is why you're here,
Yes. I agree.
right? That's why this game gets to be so much more fun and less blocks as you accept all of it with honor, grace, love, compassion.
Yeah.
So that when you bring all those high vibrational energies into your field, then you are becoming fifth dimensional.
Yeah.
Because you don't wear a mess.
Yeah. Compassion is a very big
Yes,
key.
love and compassion. I use those ones as number 1 and number 2. Honor. Well, it's like they're all up there,
Totally.
right? So when I start living under these lights or energies with my truth, they're unbreakable.
Yes.
There are no cracks in them,
I agree.
right? So you can't be bulldozed by
Your foundation is
a
strong.
heavy entity,
Yeah.
right? Because your power is you.
Exactly.
So if you live within all your truths, there's no way in for somebody to break you. You become a
Well,
very powerful person.
It doesn't mean that you can't experience something that is negative, but it just
Well, I
means
try
you
not to
can-
even think about negative, right? I'm just
Yeah.
saying cracks.
I know. It just means that you can navigate. You have more balance.
Well, I'm
To
going to say it's like,
navigate.
you can call it balance. I just call it power,
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
right?
it
If
is
you're
balance.
living behind truth, is that breakable? No.
I don't think so.
You're living behind a veil of honor, truth, integrity.
But truth is very subjective.
Well, my truth.
Yes. Your truth.
Well, it is only my truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not judging anybody else's truths. I don't
No.
want to.
That's right.
If I get into an argue with somebody, there's a point where I don't argue with them anymore. It's like, okay, well, I respect your truth, and it's over,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but basically, even when I'm doing that, I'll even tell them, like, this is my truth. I don't tell them this should be your truth. You get what I'm saying? See how I like deliver my messages? This is my truth. How can you deny my truth?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't. You can only honor my truth. See how society would be if everybody was right, and you only spoke of your truths,
Mm.
and you gave everybody their own free will to decide if that's something they should bring in, be educated by, or use their discernment and kick out,
Yep.
and then both parties leave without a worry that either one did something right or wrong, because everybody would be maintaining that they live within and parted with their truths intact.
Yeah.
Imagine the
I see
whole
what
world,
you're
how that
saying.
would just change.
Yeah.
It would change instantaneously. But everybody has a judgment that their truth is more powerful than somebody else's.
That's right.
Ew, I vomit
It's
on
not
that.
that. It's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm going to leave you now. Thank you so much for my drink.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for coming.
This was fun.
Yeah,
Sure, you'll have fun
absolutely.
editing your
Thank you.
masterpiece.
Yeah, I'll probably edit.
So who's that going to go to? Facebook?
That is not going on Facebook. This is going to go on YouTube. I have a podcast on YouTube, and I'm working on a website as well. I had one, but I'm just waiting for the domain because I have to reapply for it. Unfortunately, it just expired. So I'm doing that and then rejigging or re-uploading the website. And I've got a few other topics that I want to like outline because I think that I am in the mind of wanting to help a lot of people through their batshit craziness. So
Don't say,
I like it. Because
try not to say batshit craziness. Like, remember, those are words that anchor it in.
But I actually like it.
Try
I'm saying it in a positive tone.
It's just basically honor everybody else's truth.
Well, I call it batshit craziness from my perspective because that's what it was for me. So I like it. Don't worry. I actually love it, and
Okay,
I
it
like.
does kind of like make
Yeah.
me have a little bit of like a laugh inside. Batshit craziness.
Yeah, because we aren't like our masks that we put on. That's not us. We're the crazy, weird child within.
Hey,
That's
I'm
what
not
I like.
crazy. My name's just Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
You got it. I don't identify as crazy. I identify as being unique.
That's right. We're all unique.
But you see how these words make big differences on what we identify ourselves as.
Yeah. I do.
When I honor myself as being unique, right? There's no ego in it,
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
and there's no judgment in it. Everybody's unique.
Yeah.
Right? So it allows you to be different and honored.
Totally.
You see how it works?
Yeah.
For me it does anyways. It's important that I sort of deliver messages that way. There's something of an intelligence behind that.
Yeah. That's your truth. And
Because it's all about
I've got
the
mine.
energy behind the words.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying, like batshit crazy in a positive way. I'm not saying like in a negative.
Oh no, I'm not trying to judge it. Here we are like,
And I
we're
also
trying to
agree with
split atoms with this, but
no. I also agree we have unique sparks. So
well,
yeah.
we're like 6.5
There you
billion
go.
people or 8 billion people on this planet, and every one of us is unique.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if we could all honor that uniqueness, we wouldn't have all the problems on the planet.
Exactly.
Because we're always judging that these people are needing help, even though they're not asking for it. See how it all works?
Yeah, I do.
We're always sticking our noses where we're not invited. Because we're judging that some person or some entity or some race needs our help. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? If your friend doesn't ask you for help and you go in there and help them, do you see why they might not like that?
Yeah. Well, it's free will.
Right, because you're not honoring them as your friend and you're dictating them that they need your help. Ew.
Yeah.
You got it?
I know what you're saying.
So it's like we're always trying to, like most people here are people pleasers. And we'll go out of our way to help somebody else even though we're not asked for that help. Most of the time, it's accepted, with love. But sometimes, it's not accepted with love. It's accepted like, why are you helping me? I didn't ask for it.
Yep.
Right? Are you pitying me? Do you see how it works?
Yep.
Right? And nobody wants to be pitied. No, I shouldn't say nobody.
But
Some people like that energy.
it's not a good emotion.
No. So, like, I don't usually go and help people unless I'm being asked.
Okay.
Because then it's me judging somebody needing help, and I don't want to be judged myself.
Yeah, I think you need to ask for help. As
Yeah.
well.
So I'm sure that made a difference to some people that were listening.
Of course. Yeah. Even just one,
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, right?
helping one another is the most important thing.
So I bless you with your attempt to do your fun little thing. I'm going
Well,
off to
thank
now do
you.
my heavy work at home to clean up my house. It seems like I need to do that so I can also clean up a part of myself. Your environment is also you,
Absolutely. Yep.
right? So if you've got a messy house, then you are messy inside.
Yeah. It does affect your well-being.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, your environment is a projection of you.
Yep.
Your friends are mirror images of you.
I've been living in different places, and I've noticed how environment impacts me. So I agree.
Yeah. So your identity is you, your thoughts, your mind, your environment, the people you share your time with, love, all these things. If you wake up one morning and you look at your environment or your friends, and then you think that there's something wrong with all of it, it's usually an indication that you're the problem. So if you've got a lot of friends that are not really nice, are you a mirror image of them?
Yeah.
So instead of looking at all them and interpreting why they're not nice to you, look inside yourself and find out why you are who you are.
Okay.
So everything around you mirrors who you are.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to let people go.
Yep. That's
Right.
right.
So when you're inviting in a new consciousness, changing things in yourself, well, everybody around you will be an anchor to avoid you changing. After all, misery likes company, right? So your friends will sometimes lead you in the wrong direction because they're afraid you're going to leave them.
Yeah, just be careful, that's all.
Yeah, so it's like always live within your truth, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, I agree.
And understand when you walk that path, not everybody will follow you,
No.
right? They won't be ready to possibly, or don't want to. And will you live your lives based on your friends, or will you continue to walk your truth? I suggest you walk your truth all the way, and that will invite new people to
Okay.
come into your life versus the ones that are becoming anchors
Yeah,
to avoid you going forward.
true.
Get it in now.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
All right,
It was a brilliant talk.
this was fun.
Yeah. And blessings to you as well. So
All right,
we'll do
so
another talk maybe some other time.
yeah, you know, I'm always around.
Yeah.
I'm actually only like 5 minutes away, so this.
I know. That's right.
So yeah, so it feels like we could like hang out a little bit more.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for watching.
Cool.
I'll pause.